So let's dive into how in epigenetics, what is epigenetics? Epigenetics is what epi means before, and then genetics, right? It's just, this video shows how powerful the field is. That what determines what's healthy and not healthy is by the field and not our genetics, because epigenetics has proven that less than 1% of our diseases, mental health, physical, come from genetics. Okay, so it's more perspective on how powerful the field is. Okay, and the field passes through the heart. Okay, everything starts in the field. And so the field controls the heart too, right? The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. It's just an amazing quote here. Epigenetics. So I was programmed to be a victim as a child because of my childhood trauma. So my energy as a victim, if I'm a victim, am I going to want to attract in more men? Am I going to be open to attracting in more men? No, right? If I believe, because our beliefs control our body. Like if I think of a hamburger, my mouth salivates whether a hamburger is here or not. Field controls the particle. If I, see a handsome guy, I can go home and fantasize about him and get turned on, and he's not even present. The field controls the particle, right? So whatever is in our fields, is in our consciousness, is how our bodies act. So when I used to have a lot of anxiety in my field because I hadn't processed my childhood trauma and it was still in my subconscious, which is part of me, I was acting as if I was constantly running from men. Tons of anxiety. Okay? Tons of anxiety. And I'll link all these videos below. But this is the really important point, is that women were the emotional center in the household. The emotions in our souls, which I'll show you in a minute, communicate via emotions. So soul is the divine. So the woman, the emotional, is the spiritual, is the divine. And it communicates out through our hearts, and our hearts are our vortices. But, what I found, and Dr. Andrew Huberman, another famous neuroscientist, it talks a minute about cancel culture. How people are trying to change things on the outside so that people feel better on the inside. But that's the wrong direction. The heart is a vortex, and vortex is a holographic universe. So it's an outward projection that we see. And then the universe is a mirror so that we can see ourselves. So my heart is a vortex that projects my energy outward to the border so that I can go, oh, there's the good, there's the bad. And as I'll show you in a minute, what my energy, the vibration of my energy determines what I perceive and what draws my attention. Okay. So it's an inside out job, like changing the world is an inside job. And that's what Dr. Andy Huberman is going to show us right here. So let me pull that up. So yes, until we learn, let me stop sharing. Until we learn to regulate the self, we're not going to get very far. Because as you see people in society who aren't regulated, they're yelling and screaming, all this stuff. And then you can't have a productive, mature conversation. But the reason these people act this way is because they didn't mature their emotional range as a child, because their parents were emotionally immature themselves and punishing the children for doing anything that made the parents upset. Okay, like I didn't have access to all my emotional maturity when my children were young, so they were on the receiving end of tons of, I projected my self-hate onto them. We live in a holographic universe.